Hello YouTube, this is Pastor Green. We're doing another comic book series. Remember I started the Alberto series, and we talked about Alberto Book 1. So today we're going to talk about Alberto Book 2. It's called Double Cross. And in this book, it talks about the story of Alberto's sister getting sick. And basically what happens is he calls his sister and wonders how she is, and it finds out she's really sick. And his sister's living in a Catholic convent. And so he says, I better go see my sister because she's really sick and I don't want her to die. And then when he shows up, the nuns basically tell him, "Oh, your sister's perfectly fine. You can't see her. She's under protection." And he says, "Well, she told me she was really sick. I really want to see her." And the nuns actually call the cops on him. Basically, right here you can see the nuns calling the cops on him. And then the nuns tell the cops, "Well, this guy tried to hurt us. He tried to attack us. He's a really bad person. You got to arrest him." And Alberto simply says, "No, I'm here. My sister's sick. All I want to do is see her to see how she's doing." And the cops pretty much say, "Is his sister here?" And the nuns say, "Well, yeah, she's here, but she's perfectly fine. She's not sick or nothing like that." So the cops say, "Well, I'll tell you what. Let's go see the sister. And if she's not sick, then I'm going to arrest this guy. But if she is sick, we're going to do something about it." And then when he goes and sees his sister, she's all bloody. She's really, really thin. And the sister pretty much says that it's her fault. The reason why she's all bloody and sick is bloody and thin is because she's sick. She says that she's got to pay for being a sinner. And I don't know if you know the whole about the Catholics, but the Catholics believe that when you die, you go to a place called purgatory. And in purgatory, you basically have to earn your faith in order to get to heaven because everybody's a sinner. So you got to earn your faith to get to heaven. And so however long it takes you in purgatory to earn your faith, that's how long it takes you to get to heaven. But here on earth, you could do things like pay money to the Catholic Church, or light a bunch of candles, or say a bunch of Hail Marys, or you can basically punish yourself. And so Alberto's sister basically was punishing herself. She was taking rods and smacking herself in the back and not eating and basically punishing herself because she thought that'd be an easy way to get into heaven. And then it turns out because she was as sick as she was, the cops let Alberto leave with the sister and take her to a hospital. And while this is going on, Alberto's friend, right up here, the whole book is basically him talking to his friend. Who's talking to his friend, and he's like, why does the Catholic Church do this? Why do they believe these crazy ideas? And he says, "Oh, it goes much more deeper than that. See, the Catholic Church has a bunch of different organizations like the Jesuits, which is basically higher than the Catholics, but the Jesuits go into different churches, and the Jesuits will infiltrate the churches and try to get the pastors in trouble or get the church in trouble, so they fall apart. They talk to the Protestants because the Protestants also follow the Catholic faith. Even though a lot of Protestants don't know this, the Catholics are the ones pulling the strings. And basically, the whole idea is to get them away from believing the Bible and believing the Catholics. There's a book further on. It's called The Prophet, where they actually say that the Catholics started the Muslim faith. But he's talking about how Alberto's talking about how these Catholics are doing all these things underground. They're basically talking to different churches. They're trying to get people to follow the Catholics and not the other Christians. And it says later in the book that they actually poison Alberto's food and he gets real sick. Um, um, Basically, what happens is they pay his dentist to put this little thing into his teeth, and it basically causes an infection, and it'll basically kill him. So they basically put some poison in his mouth, and they put this little infection in there to kill him. And they actually found later on that this dentist did that, and his friends like, why do they do these type of things? And so he's talking about how Judas betrayed Jesus because it was financially a good idea for him. He basically betrayed him with a kiss. And there's actually a lot of different organizations that will actually, they'll kiss you to show that you're the bad guy. And then it talks about how Jesus suffered, died, um, basically lived on he was on the cross, and how he basically sacrificed himself to um, save us. And then the book continues going on talking about how the Catholic Church started in 337 A.D. with Constantine. He actually started the Catholic Church, and the whole purpose of doing that was to try to take faith away from Jesus and onto the Pope. If you ask any Catholic person, they'll tell you that Pope is the number one person. Anything he says goes. He's basically God in the flesh. And Alberto talks about how when Jesus died on the cross, all the Jewish sacrifices ceased, but the Catholics are doing sacrifices every day with doing the water and the wine and the bread. They actually believe that they take Jesus out of heaven and they sacrifice him. This is my blood, drinking the blood. This is my body, and Christians will actually do it as a symbolic thing to remember Jesus. They use grape juice and they use these little bread things. It's basically a symbol, but the Catholics believe they're actually sacrificing Christ. They're actually sacrificing him. They're drinking his blood. They're eating his body because they want to continue the sacrifices. And they talked about how basically the Pope is the great white whore of the Bible in the book of Revelations. They actually mention it right down here, Revelation 17. They talk about how they're the great white whore of the Bible. And they even had Jim Jones was part of the Jesuits, and how he basically was leading people away from the faith. He caused all those people to sacrifice themselves, and they basically wanted to give a dirty name to Christians. Um, and they're basically talking about how one day the Pope's gonna basically take over, cause a one world government, and in doing so, everybody's gonna follow him. They talk about in the book how the Catholic Church wants to wants to basically say everybody you need to follow us. You need to follow us because we're the Catholics and we know everything. And if you follow us, that when times come that the tribulation happens, just follow us and we're going to protect you. We're gonna teach you what's right from wrong. Just you got to keep paying your money and you got to do all your sacrifices and submit to the Catholic Church. And the Catholic Church is all over the world. There's a Catholic Church in almost every country now, and they basically want to have a one world religion. They want everybody to follow the Catholic religion. They want everybody to basically say the Pope is the number one person in the world, and they want you to basically forget about Jesus. So the book Double Cross is talking about how the Catholic Church has double crossed the Christians and trying to end them, and they use a lot of Jesuits to go in there and pretend like they're Christians and infiltrate the churches. And like I said in the first book, they want to get the pastors and get the churches in trouble. So that's book 2, Double Cross. I appreciate you guys watching this. I will continue doing the whole series. Appreciate everything you guys have done for me. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time. Also, remember to like and subscribe and comment on the video. Have a great day.